And let's be honest, life's a competition. So if I'm going to play, then I'm gonna play to win it. I refuse to sit and rot at a desk all day unless I have a passion.
Aloha everyone, welcome back to another week of our Pokemon Draft League, the DTC. We are back. I am Alolan Trainer Koa, coach of the Honolulu Haunters. Thanks very much for joining me here this week on week 2. This time we'll be going up against the Washington Blazikens. Oh wow. So I guess to start off with our introductions, I am doing a voiceover for this. Did not really have time to set up all my audio equipment before the match. And actually, as you'll see, kind of messed up on my sets a little bit. I think I noticed it right here. Yeah, I was like, oh man, Brick Break, Earth Power, and Stealth Rock. And I was like, hey, my set didn't load. But then that seems kind of shady to tell them, hey, my set didn't load after seeing their team. So yeah, we kind of just went with it. And I really should have done my homework, to be honest. I did not prep well for this one. I kind of just threw everything together. And I actually didn't notice this at the time either until a little bit later on into the battle. I forgot Defog on my Pelipper. I think I put Toxic on him instead. Don't know what I was thinking. I guess because last week I had brought my straight Sun team. And on my Sun team, I used Torkoal as like my Sun setter / rocks and rock removal. So yeah, you'll see as we get into this episode, it gets a little bit dicey there. Without further ado, let's get right into it, I guess. Alright, I start off with the Liepard, and I kind of thought he was going to start off with his Xatu, which is why I went into Liepard first. Mistake number 1. Never expect your opponent to go for setups on someone you would think that would bring screens. So my reasoning behind bringing Liepard was specifically for his Xatu. If I could go ahead and Pursuit Trap his Xatu, I figured I'd be sitting pretty good. But instead he decides to go with his setups on Skarmory, which now looking back, yeah, like I said, I didn't do very much prep for this. I really should have. Shame on you, Koa. Anyway, so we switch into Nidoqueen here to go ahead and posture for the Ice Beam, and then I remember, oh yeah, we don't have Ice Beam. So we go for the Stealth Rocks on him. He gets to set up 3 layers of spikes, if I remember correctly. So our team's going to be taking a huge chunk of damage every time we switch in. 3 layers, I believe, is 25% of your health gone. Plus, like, the average of 6 to 12% damage from Stealth Rocks. And then the chip damage from his Sandstorm. So we do go for Scald. We get lucky, and we get the burn on his Skarmory. We go for Scald again, knocking out his Skarmory. So at this point, I'm like, alright, we're just going to have to buckle down and kind of deal with it. We'll see what happens. Hippowdon comes in. I decide to go for I believe I go for the Roost. Nope, I just go for the straight switch into Celebi. Yeah. Lucky us because he had the Thunder Fang. I figured this would be a good time to go for my Z power. He kind of predicts it. I believe he switches in here to his, his type Null, which he went with normal type. Ugh, good plays, man. All around, he really prepped for this. He kind of figured that if he couldn't just outright beat my water team, that he would do everything in his power to kind of, do the switch outs, do the roar, that whole thing there. And that was really rough. It whittled down my team. I can go for knockoff, I can go for Sucker Punch, Pursuit Trap, all that other good stuff, but he goes for the rest. And being choice banded was good and bad all at the same time. We could get some damage off, but luckily when he goes for the Sleep Talk, we don't get hit with anything. So I figured, this would be a good time to just go ahead and switch out to Nidoqueen. She can take some damage. Sleep Talk again, goes for the Roar, and we take literally 50% from Ari, which is our Ninetales there. At this point, I was like, oof, Solar Beam, we'll see what we can do. And I believe Ari's still Specs. Yeah, she's Specs, or he's Specs rather. Should have been a female. Anyway, he goes for the smart play, switches in his Hippowdon, changes the weather on me. I get locked in on Solar Beam, and I believe he was running heavy special defense on the Hippowdon, probably due to my last match when I basically used our Ninetales there to kind of sweep the opposite team. I figured I'm kind of locked in here. He's probably gonna go for the Thunder Fang again, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to get more chip damage or just do a straight switch. Looks like we do just go for the straight switch, trying to keep our Rain Setter alive as long as possible to kind of get as much damage off on his team as possible. Yeah, he reads the play really well done on his part. Switches into his Swampert, which, if I remember correctly, is his Mega. And then I believe Mega Swampert gets Swift Swim. So if he were to... yeah, he didn't Mega Evolve for some reason. I'm not sure if he forgot to, or he just... it was like a misplay, I'm not too sure. But that gives us a little bit of momentum to kind of build on and kind of get a little bit of damage on his carries. So I go into Kingdra here, which I did name Dragalge, but I guess when you name a Pokemon a different Pokemon's name, it doesn't let you keep it. Anyway, so we go for the Draco Meteor, he goes for the Roar, racking up that toxic damage. He is definitely gonna KO whoever I end up switching in here. And we don't really have a play. Yeah. I get KO'd, but his Swampert does get KO'd at the same time, which is nice. So now we're only down by like 1 Pokemon instead of like 3. So I figured here that he was gonna try and swap out. So I go for the greedy play of the Pursuit. I should have just Sucker Punched. I was debating on this for the longest time. I was like, I can either go Sucker Punch or I can go Pursuit. He's probably going to set up screens if he does anything. He U-turns. Outspeeds me, and down goes my Pursuit Trapper, which that was the only reason I brought it, was to trap the Xatu, and it didn't work. So I figured, okay, well, I don't have any other plays here. This is going to be my last chance. I'm going to bring in my... Pelipper, and we're just going to go for it. We're going to go for the Scalds. We're going to go for every play that he gives me. I'm playing for differential at this point. I have 1 Mon left after Pelipper. Basically 1 Mon, because Pelipper's at like 1% health. And yeah, we eat a Tri-Attack, which, go figure, it's all good. Honestly, I think I could have played this better by switching out earlier, because I would have had 1 extra turn of Rain. And it really does come down to this. Oh, it doesn't really matter, because then he brings in Hippowdon. Actually, yeah, I could have played this a lot better. I could have brought in Kingdra, played in the extra turn of Rain. He would have brought in Hippowdon after. I would have switched back out to my Pelipper. Pelipper would have changed it back to Rain, and then I would have been able to outspeed his Choice Scarf Marowak, which was insane. Great plays, man. I did not see that one coming at all. I was like, alright, I got this speed. I'm way faster than him. And then he outspeeds me, and I'm like, oh, of course he's choiced. He's gotta be Scarfed, right? Anyway, great battle by this guy. So without further ado, I will see you in the post-game, where we'll kind of talk about our strategies and how I wanted to do everything. Aloha everyone, thank you very much for joining me here in the post-game. So, I just wanted to touch bases a little bit on my ideas on why I brought who I brought, and my strategies going into this game. Obviously, we already know I should have brought Defog, and we should have brought a 4th move on Nidoqueen. Yes. But going deeper into that, there were a lot better plays that I could have made. Obviously, the extra turn of Rain, resetting up Rain so that way we could go ahead and KO anything that came in, i.e. using Swift Swim to our advantage. Because I do believe Kingdra, I ran the calcs before this game a little bit. Kingdra did live most ground attacks from the opposite team. I had just enough defense investment in there. I should have stuck with that plan. I really should have. We could have actually gotten the win looking back at it now that I'm a little bit calmer than I was before. Liepard is a great pursuit trapper. That's why I had the choice band on Liepard. That makes it a huge powerhouse without having to invest a ton of stats into it. Super good. I think I just went straight attack and speed investment with a plus speed nature, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, sorry, this is all post video, so kind of pulling from my memory here. Next up, I had to worry about his steel types, right? He had the Skarmory, he had possible type Null, he had his Jirachi. Jirachi and Skarmory are huge threats. Jirachi has that Serene Grace with the Perma Flinch. That's awful. I'm so glad he didn't bring that, because that could have gone a lot worse. But that was the whole reason that I had brought the Ninetales, was so that I could actually catch him with his Serene Grace Jirachi out, or with his Skarmory. So the reason why in the plays I didn't make the switch immediately into Ninetales when he had his Skarmory out was because I also thought he might have been carrying some type of like Earth Power or Earthquake, some type of rock move, and I didn't want to sack off my Z users so early in the game. Moving on from that, he could have also brought his Flygon and his Leafeon. That was the whole reason why I was going to have Ice Beam on my Nidoqueen, which, surprise surprise, did not load. So I'm glad he didn't bring either one of those. He kind of lucked out there. Next up, of course, we had to deal with his Hippowdon. We had to deal with his Mega Swampert, which is why I ended up bringing his Jirachi. Or not Jirachi. That's why I ended up bringing my Celebi. Celebi is that grass psychic type. Would have played out perfectly there. Again, I'm thinking my planning was pretty sound. It's just my execution from here on out needs to be much better. I need to think through my plays a lot more. Okay, with all that out of the way, we're definitely going to take this as a huge learning experience. We are going to be bringing all of this into week 3, so hopefully we can start getting some more dubs under our belt. Again, this is my first draft league, so there's a lot that I still need to learn about competitive Pokemon battling. But I really do think that if I continue to push myself and prep better and make sure to look over my sets, I can do a lot more work. I really did want to thank everyone that gave me assistance when they could. A huge shout out to Q the Costa Rican. Dude is a legend when it comes to competitive battles. I ran a couple ideas by him, and yeah, he's a huge help. He's an awesome dude. Go ahead and join me here for next week's episode, week 3 of our DTC Draft League, and we will be taking on the Pittsburgh Steelix. So, as always, I am Alolan Trainer Koa. Thank you so much. Huge mahalos to everyone that made it this far, and aloha.
Don't care what they all say. That's right. I'ma do this thing my way. Let's go. Been grinding hard on it all day. Okay. We work hard, then we all play.